All right, bro. How you feeling? How you doing?
What's good, bro? I'm doing well. How you doing? What's good? Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Yeah, life's good right now. Woke up, just did some chores, like, just some normal shit.
Most definitely.
And then, just enjoying life right now. It's cool.
Yeah.
How about yourself? How you doing?
I'm chilling, just getting that work in. Just got to stay down in these tough times. Just got to...
That's factual.
10 toes down, just trusting the process. Keep going with the shit.
Exactly. It's like the best time to be doing that.
Facts.
The best time, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the questions I want to ask you first off the bat, because it's the new you. We got a shaved head, whole ass different situation.
I just did this shit last night, yeah.
So my first question is, how are you feeling going into the album? Because you released it during quarantine, and that's like the big question everybody asks is like, oh, you dropped an album during quarantine, like, how do you feel? But this album it's not just talking about like social issues and like the world shit. It's talking about like personal shit too. So I'm wondering, like, what is the change kind of, starting the album, making it, and then dropping it? Like, where...
Shit. That's a good question. All right, well, I started making the album back in like March, because I finished up my mixtape. And I was like, all right, mixtape's done. Time to like start the album.
Yeah.
And starting the album, it was honestly a really difficult process, because just with quarantine and like just being in bed, it started out with me being really productive, but like nothing was clicking, like it was like I was just producing content that was like going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I just found myself making like the same song over and over and over again. So I kind of took a step back for a little bit. I want to say from like April to like June. And then June, one day I was reading The Rose That Grew from Concrete by Tupac. It's a poem book of just like all of his poems. And I'm reading this book, and there's this poem called Entitled that like just spoke to me. And from there I was just like, all right, I like how he's very personal with the way he talks, and how like I try to be as personal as possible, because I feel like the more honest you are, the easier it is to just make art.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, honesty is power, truth is power. It's like Childish Gambino says. But I took that, and I just started conveying my problems and my feelings into art. And that's more of what this project is. It was honestly just me going through a tough time in quarantine like everybody else, and just, getting everything off my chest and embodying it for everybody to listen.
So would you say that makes this project different? Because low-key, I don't know how many people know this, but you've been dropping all 2020. Like you've already had 2 projects come out, like...
Yeah. Well, so I've been dropping all 2020. But this project, what makes it different is just the mindset I was in. The first project I dropped of the year was Prosperity Through Deprivation, my second album. In my opinion, that's my favorite album. I think my new project is my best project, but Prosperity Through Deprivation was I was going through a rough time in life, just like financially, and just like mental and self problems and stuff. So before COVID happened, like I'm already dealing with my own problems, and this album is just like that one, except for with everything that comes with COVID, whether it's like in more anxiety because you're inside, and days start to turn like feel like a cycle,
it's like all one big like blur, low key.
Exactly, just one huge blur. You're like, damn, like it's already Friday, like I feel like it just was Monday, like yesterday.
Facts. Yeah.
So yeah.
So with this one, because like I listened to the album and I could kind of understand what the meaning behind the title was, and I like, you have a series because this is the 3rd installment,
right?
But like, just for the people who kind of don't know, what's like the why queen,
That's also a good question. Damn, you're good at this, dude. You're good at this. No cap, I'm gonna dap you up. Like, good shit, bro. This is fun. This is lit. All right, so the first queen was my first ever rap project ever. I was making beats in from like 2017 to 2019. 2019 January, I dropped my first ever like project as Huey Jefferson, which is Rough Cuts Volume 1. It's a beat tape. A lot of people loved it, and it gave me confidence that a lot of people loved it. So I was like, yo, time to get the raps out.
Yes, sir.
So I started just writing a lot of raps, and then I was going to do a demo tape, but I was like, I felt like I should drop an EP first. So I dropped on 4/20 of 2019, the first Queen. And fun fact, the person on that cover, her name's Natalie Kim, is the same person on this cover of Queen 3.
Dope, yeah.
But
because we was talking, I low-key, Natalie hit me in the DMs afterwards, and she was like, yo, are you working with Huey? Or like Eli? You know?
Really?
Yeah,
That's
she
awesome. Did. Shout out Natalie.
And
She's awesome.
And I was just like, yeah, we're trying to do some shit. And I was like, you want to be in the video? And she's like, yeah, I fuck with it. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, you told me that. Yeah,
I think I mentioned that.
Yeah, you did mention that. Yeah.
But because, you know, you just mentioned like, you know, kind of like that you were going through this rough time, and the Queen was kind of this it's culminative of like all this shit, like COVID, right, your personal experience,
and like just like all the politics got everybody riled up, everybody.
Yeah.
And like the people, like, you know, the people, they have their voice, and they're gonna keep having their voice, and like, you know, I stand with the people, I'm with the people, but it just has everybody in this like super like tension, like high tension environment, and it's like just, it's not chill. And I feel like this album's like, hey, like, we going through a rough time, but we all in this together, you know? Like, we all just need to have unity right now, and you know, get through this together, because that's the only way we gonna do this.
Yeah. Because you produce all your music too.
Yeah, I make all my beats. Yeah.
Crazy.
I make all my beats.
Fucking insane. Because I was gonna say, like, my next question was gonna be like, you know, sometimes with like the genre of like rap, it's really easy to fall into like a tight beat.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, you know,
I'll be honest, I probably do fall into type beat category.
I'm not even saying that, because like the thing is about your shit, like when I listen to it, like it's not like the obvious sample. Most people listen to like an Aretha, or they listen to like Janet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they just chop up like whatever the big hit is. But you like, you have like a different soul selection going on.
Yeah, I literally like, we're called crate diggers, like people that like sampling and stuff.
Definitely familiar with that.
I'm a big one. Like, I love just like trying to find the most like obscure, like rare sample, just so I don't know, it's just cool to be like, to have people be like, yo, like, I've never heard that sample before, like what you did with it was cool, like, can I hear the original? And I'll play them the original, and they're like, yo, like, oh my, like, this is amazing, like, good job. I'm like, thank you. And then just go from there. But I just scourge the internet. Like, I literally just scourge the internet, or I'll just go out and find like records I like.
It's super dope. So in terms of like that being an influence, then like what were you listening to in your household that was like, because like for me personally, like I know from a young age I had the parents playing like Bloodstone,
nice,
some Smokey, you know, some pretty like big shit. But after that I was kind of like, all right, this was an introduction, and then I started getting into like smaller groups, like I'm trying to think, but you got like, you know, all just different types of like just this wide culture to draw from. So like what specifically was being played in the crib?
Oh man, so much. My mom and dad, like they're not together anymore, but when they were together, like one thing I can say is their music, like they always had lit music playing. My dad was playing like Cameron, Purple Haze, and like Lil Wayne, and Cassidy, and like Wu-Tang Clan, like just a bunch of that. My mom loved like old R&B, like Aaliyah, and she loved Sade, and Mary J. Blige, you know, What's the 411? I love that album. And like Lauryn Hill. And then from, I want to say the age of like second grade is when I started getting like my own like music taste. And then my older brother too, like he produces, he's like the reason I got into beats, but like from a young age he's just influenced my music, just because you know how it is, like, oh, like you hang out with your older brother, like you want to be your older brother, you know, like you look up to him.
It's facts. Yeah. So
yeah, he was just playing a lot of like lit music. He got me into Odd Future in like 2008, like from MySpace. Like he was one of the first people I know that was like on MySpace, like listening to Odd Future, which blows my mind to this day. He got me into like Childish Gambino and like Capital Steez and Pro Era when like they all started blowing up. Like He got me in like Misfits. Like he got me in a lot of music.
Super
a lot
dope.
of music.
That's crazy too, because I was just listening to Because of the Internet last night.
Oh, I love that album. That album's such a great album.
I feel like too, like with the times now and just like what everybody's going through personally on like some like isolation shit. That album is like perfect. Like I was re-listening to like I was re-listening to like Shadows. No, World Star was what it was, and there was like, because I remember I was like, what the fuck? The bar hit different when I heard it.
Which bar was it?
It was the one where I fucking forget, but it's like the wordplay on it was so dope. I'm gonna send it to you afterwards.
Yeah, no, I love Childish Gambino. I have that on vinyl. I love that record. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my biggest influences.
It's like top 10 right there, low key.
My older brother got his 2010 mixtape Cul-de-sac on my iPod shuffle in like 2000.
Bro, that's
like
slept
10.
on. People sleep on Cul-de-sac.
Yeah, Cul-de-sac's a great project. Like so many bangers. Like Got This Money, Do You Like, So Fly. Like the list goes on. Yeah. All right. Like I love that mixtape. That's one of my favorite mixtapes of all time.
Good. Yeah. So let's see. Next question would be then like, because I was listening to the album and it was like this. It was really interesting to me how you balanced lyricism with like your hooks, and there were songs where you were kind of like feeling it. So for you, is the artistic process, is it like, all right, I have a quota with each song, like it needs to have this, and this, or is it more so like you're just like whatever the vibe is kind of?
It's literally just like whatever the vibe. Like I don't try to like put like deadlines or like like timestamps or like like just deadlines with like my music.
Yeah,
I just do like what comes naturally and like what flows. Like some of the songs on the albums like has more like a darker, like more personal vibe to it. And because of that, it's like one day like I'm just like just not feeling like the best, not feeling 100. The mental's not just fully there, and you just be feeling down, and you got to just get that emotion out to just recognize that, and you can't heal what you don't reveal. So
facts.
Yeah,
because there was like there were some bars where I was like, holy shit. Like there was bars that I heard and it was like super deep to the point where it felt like it was like coordinated. But I was almost like, this seems so natural and like loose that it's like actually just a vibe. Like one of the lines you have where you're like, I'll probably fuck it up, but it's like, my girl is she's addicted to coffee.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that line was super dope, because usually with these rappers, it's like, my girl's addicted to snow, my girl's popping perks.
Yeah.
But you were just like, my girl's addicted to coffee.
Yeah, she is. Like shout out Darla. Her name's Cam, but shout out Darla. Yeah, she loves coffee. She works at a coffee shop. She's amazing. She's like my favorite person in the world. And like I'm honest with my music. I try to be as honest as possible. So like
I just thought that was super dope too, because you talk a lot about like setting trends instead of like following trends. And it almost just seems like it's one of those really organic things where not only with your music, but it's just kind of like everything about what you're doing, even though it's not a trend, it's like you're creating this organic kind of like wave.
Yeah,
almost, because like talking about type beats, it's almost like people could listen to your music and be like, oh, this sounds like Earl, this sounds like whatever, right, like Haji or whatever the fuck. But it's like so unique to me in the way that genuinely like the content of the lyrics and just like all that shit, like I haven't heard anybody talk about some of the racial things you talk about and frame it in that sense since like Section 80 or some shit like that.
Yeah, I love Section 80. That's a good record too. But yeah, for me, it's just really like, with this music, you have the power to say, like, it's art, and with art, it's like your name. Like, you may not like my name, but you gotta respect it for what it is. Like, it might not be, like, it might be tied with like a bad memory or just something you don't like, but you gotta respect it for what it is, because it is that. So with this art, I just feel like I gotta use like my outlet to talk about problems that I don't like and that could be fixed with just a simple conversation,
Facts. Because there was one part where you were talking about race, and the way you were talking about it, it was almost like you were saying like, it was like a rejection of race as an idea, and basically being like, no, race is part of the zeitgeist, like it's not real.
Yeah, like, okay, as dumb as it seems, we all are really the same. We all are really the same. We all came from the same place, and are all gonna die at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not much that separates us other than like a few different letters in our name and, you know, our interests, and really that's it. People tend to overblow their problems and like dwell on them too much, when really it's like life's really simple. Like, you're not going to be here for long, so just make the most of it and don't focus on the bullshit that's not going to matter in a week, you know.
It's facts. Because it was like such a rejection. Like, when I heard it, I was like, whoa. Because you were almost being like, yo, race is a cultural thing, it's not a social thing.
Yeah, it's, well, with race, it's just like people tend to, like, I don't know how to put it, but people just are too, I don't want to say sensitive about it, but whenever it gets brought up, they don't want to have that conversation of, hey, like, this is a problem, and we just need to look at each other just as, like, as humans, just as, like, you know, brothers and sisters. It's just like friends. You know, as soon as race gets, like, put into it, it's put in a box, and it becomes something else. And, you know, we just need to start stirring away from that.
Facts.
So, yeah.
All facts. So then, leading to my next question, like, a lot of your music, it related to me, because, like, I was weird, because, like, with a lot of the artists I work with, like, there's a degree to which I can relate to them, and there's a degree to which their music resonates with me, because at some point it's like you get this thing where your real life and culture kind of like clash, where you're like,
yeah,
I'm trying to sell something, and so I have to make it marketable.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, when I heard your music, I was like related to it like a way more than any of the other music I've been hearing, because there was just something so like raw and authentic about it. So I'm curious, like, what do you think about like your environment influenced your view, or like kind of the way you decide to like jump on wax, basically?
Well, okay, my environment, like, growing up was just like, I come from a big family. I have 8, including me, 8 brothers and sisters. Like, blood brothers and sisters. And my mom, she's a single parent. So, like, I just, growing up, one thing I can say is my mom always got shit done and was always working constantly, just always trying to do better and better, always. She's still trying to do that now.
Yeah.
Like, I love my mom. Shout out moms. Like, shout out all moms around everywhere. They do a lot for us. And so I just recognized that as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I just, it was bad. I'm smart,
mm-hmm.
but I'm like lazy, you know? So I didn't do that well in school. But it's not that I couldn't, it's just like, I just weren't interested in it, and I was just constantly like had in headphones and would like just blow off class and just be listening to music, or like writing like raps in class. But like, I finally like got my shit together,
mm-hmm.
like did school, graduated on time, with the high GPA too, 4.0. And yeah, from there I was just like, I don't know what I want to do in life. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to go to school or not. Sorry. And I really like this music shit, so I'm gonna stick with this and just work my ass off as much as I can, and just, you know, do both, balance both, and just strive for bigger and better. So I just learned from a young age from my environment that if you're really interested in something, like, you just gotta work hard at it.
Yeah.
And then with this music, you know, I forget the quote, but basically, hard work beats talent when talent isn't working hard. That's the quote, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I just know, like, if I have a little bit of talent, which I think I'm talented enough to like have a career in this. Like, it feels weird saying that. And then I will outwork almost everybody in the room.
I feel that.
Like you said, I've dropped multiple projects this year, and I
think the tone.
Yeah, exactly. People always ask me too, like, how are you able to do that? And it's like, I'm constantly working on music. You can ask my girlfriend, like, I Snapchatted her the other day of me up at 4 a.m, just like mixing. She's like, why are you, and she Snapchat me the next day, like, why are you up that late working on music? It's like, cause I can be, I guess.
It's
like,
the only thing that gets the heart going.
Exactly.
The soul going, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too, cause you mentioned your mom's, and when I was listening to the project, to me, the way that the whole project in totality resonated with me was like this idea that you heal yourself through almost like the pain of others. Mm-hmm. Like the sacrifice that, you know, your mom's made, that all our moms made, is kind of like this idea that, like, you become like a king by like acknowledging queens.
Yeah, like women are just, they do so much in the world. And I was raised by women. My mom's sisters, like we first moved out to Cali in like 2008. My mom's sisters were constantly babysitting us because my mom just had a baby, my youngest sister, and then she put herself through college, became a pharmacy technician. All throughout that time, I was just being raised by like my older brothers and then just all of her sisters and like my grandma. So from a young age, I just recognized like how amazing and how much the woman and just the world can accomplish. I was gonna say in America, but just the whole world.
Yeah, because like that, I feel like for me, I was like, this is some real shit, like some real psychology shit, low key intertwined in there, where this idea that's like, you know, this idea of like not only it touches on it so indirectly, but at the same time, it's like your project is both like on this macro level, but then it's also like micro at times, because it goes from like these passages or like these phrases or these bars that hint at this idea that like there's a ton of misogyny in the world, and the way that you find enlightenment or the way that you find happiness within yourself is ramifying like these misogynistic like values and beliefs that are in yourself, but also that might have been affecting family members, because you know like mothers come from trauma too. Like my mom hit the divorce when I was super young, you know, like dad's wasn't around for a while, but it was just like that idea that like moms carry that trauma,
right,
and that trauma is part of like the family almost a little bit, or a lot, you know.
I feel like it's so easy to like forget that too, because like, you know, everybody has their own problems, but so it's so easy to forget like the problems of others, and you just be like, damn, like you gotta remember, like you gotta take a step back, remember like, yo, my mom's a human too, or like this person, whoever it is a human too, and you gotta like acknowledge that and, you know,
nurture that.
Yeah,
you
nurture
like,
that. Exactly.
Get it on some queen shit.
Yeah, exactly. Just do what you can to acknowledge as much as you can just how amazing the female is.
Facts. And like there's even bars too. This is gonna take me into my next point, but like I really think you're like slept on as a lyricist, like because there was moments where I would be listening to it and you were flowing with this idea, and then like you're so good at like punctuating your verses. Like the last lines of your verses are always fire to me. Like you had one bar that was like, she pop her pussy like the way I pop my trunk or some shit like that.
Pop in the pussy like pop
in the trunk. And I was like, that's so hard. And then on Nicole, when you were like don't ask to like touch my hair, like at the end of every song, like you paint these like cool pictures and like these like little like scenarios and like little scenes that exist, but then you like punctuate it so well. So I'm curious as to like what goes behind the writing process and what kind of influences the writing process.
So for me, writing, I've just constantly been writing. Earlier I mentioned like I wasn't doing that well in school. The one class, actually one of the two classes that I was always doing well in was English, and then the other class I liked was ASL because ASL is lit. But in English, like I was in advanced English when I went to Oceanside, and Oceanside I failed every single class my first semester except for English. I passed with an A. But for me, writing has always just, it was hard at first because, you know, I started out battle rapping, so when you like battle rap, it's just braggadocious, just trying to say the most clever, like just lit shit, just trying to get a raise out of the people around you. Yeah. So I started like I got type beats from the internet, like sophomore year, and I tried making a mixtape because people are like, yo, you can rap, like make a mixtape. I'm like, all right, like I'll try it. And it just nothing was clicking, you know, like I can only get so far with doing all that, and like I didn't like my raps, and they weren't good, like I can say that now, but I read this quote from Matt Martians that said, if you're 100% honest in your music, no one can tell you if it's good or not. So I read that and I was like, damn, that was like some real shit. So I was like, all right, fuck like all the braggadocious stuff, I'm gonna just try and like just write just like honest shit. And it took me a while, like 3 months of constant writing, like every single day. Yeah. But I got to where I wanted when I wrote the first song, which was White Crest Vision from the Queen EP. and I spit it for one of the dudes in my collective, B4. His name's Julius. He goes by IRNS. Go check him out. He's amazing. Super slept on. It's crazy. But I rapped it for him, like, and I already made the beat and everything. He was like, yo, like, that was super lit. Like, that was awesome. Like, you went off. Like, we got to record that. And then that's how, like, it ultimately started. So my writing process really now is just I just sit down, like, with the pad and paper. I'm like, all right, just how am I feeling today? Like, what's going on recently that I want to touch on? You know, because I read a lot, like, news articles, or, like, I watch a lot of YouTube videos on just current events. So I'm influenced by all of that, and that's what, like, basically, that's how I, like, tell, like, what I want to, like, write for the day. Or I'll just be like listening to music and I'll hear just some like really fucking good bars, like some MF Doom shit or like Ghostface Killer.
Yeah.
And I'll just be like blown away and be like, damn, I'm trying to write something like just as good as that, and like I'll be at it for like a half hour before I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like, which is like dope to hear, because like I don't think like enough artists try to emulate like the process or the grind. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
everybody's kind of looking for like. And this is like, it's a huge cultural thing. Everybody's just looking for what's hot, what's quick.
Exactly.
But it even goes more into like creating, like if you just try to emulate the end process, you're not going to get all the training and like the hours that go into getting there.
Exactly. Like, people gotta understand, I spent like, you know what it takes to make a song? Just one song.
Bro, I used to get on like GarageBand or some shit and then just lay down trash and be like, yeah, this ain't for me. Like, it's tough to like.
It's challenging. Like, I probably spent like 4 or 5 months just making trash beat after trash beat. You just gradually get better. Like, you got to put in the man hours to get the experience to finally get to where you want to be. And it sucks, but if you like, it's like anything. You know, I don't really think it's like talent at that point. It's more just like drive. Like, back like to what I was saying, like about just working hard. But yeah, no, making beats it's fun, but it's like it can be tedious sometimes even now, because it's like I'm trying to like just not make the same beat. I never try to write the same verse twice or make the same beat twice. So I just like, I'm constantly listening to different music, or like just checking out like new plugins or that producers are using, or watch like producer videos on how they make their beats, like just to be influenced, or like just get a new idea that can make like my next like best song, you know. So yeah, just the whole process of just creating art is just, it's fun, but it can be tedious at times, but I love it. Like, I wouldn't trade it in for anything. And yeah, I might die from lack of sleep, but it'll be worth it.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to tell the people before?
Be yourself. Do not conform for the man or for anyone else. Just literally be yourself and do what makes you happy in life. You only have one life. Don't spend it trying to make other people happy and get their validation when the only validation you need is from yourself. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. And yeah, go listen to my music, please.
All right, dope.
All right.
We are chilling.